My 10-year-old cousin used ChatGPT for homework, and I think we're doomed. I'm not trying to be dramatic. Okay, maybe a little dramatic. But what I witnessed today made me feel like I was staring into the intellectual abyss of our future. It all started innocently enough. My 10-year-old cousin came over after school. Smart kid, bubbly, 5th grade. She's always been quick with comebacks and loves telling stories about her classmates. I've always thought she was kind of ahead of her age group. You know, sharp, witty, maybe even future valedictorian material. So when she said, "Can I use your laptop to do my homework?" I didn't hesitate. I opened a guest tab, handed it over, and figured she'd maybe pull up Google or a school website, probably some math problems or a science worksheet. No big deal. What I didn't expect, what I couldn't have predicted, was that she would go straight to ChatGPT like it was second nature. Not just open it, but use it like a pro. No searching, no stumbling, just straight copy-paste action like she'd done it 100 times before. The moment the site loaded, she started copying each question from her homework sheet, pasting it into ChatGPT, copying the response, and pasting it into a Google Doc. I'm sitting there on the couch watching this unfold like I'm witnessing the end of education in real time. First question. How many minutes are in 2 hours and 15 minutes? Fair enough. Maybe she needed reassurance. Math can be tricky sometimes. I didn't judge. Not yet. But then it spiraled. What is 8 times 7? How many days are in a week? Is 60 seconds the same as 1 minute? I mean, come on. At some point, I was genuinely confused. Was she joking? Testing me? Was this some kind of prank? Nope. She was dead serious. Copy, paste, click, done. She didn't pause. She didn't even look at the answers to see if they made sense. She just assumed whatever came out of the box was right. And honestly, it was. That's what made it worse. Then came the English assignment. She opened a new tab, typed theme of friendship in insert story name, skimmed a summary from Spark Notes, barely, and then said out loud, "I don't want to read it. It's boring." She didn't even attempt to read the actual story. She copied the question prompt. Write a 100-word paragraph about the theme of friendship in the story, and pasted it into ChatGPT. The bot responded with a decent, well-structured paragraph. She glanced at it and muttered, "Make it shorter." The AI obeyed. She nodded. Shorter. Now it was 2 lines. Shorter. 1 sentence. Friendship is when people help each other. She smirked, copied it, pasted it into her assignment, and opened TikTok. Homework. Done. I'm not exaggerating when I say I sat there in stunned silence. My jaw might have actually dropped. She didn't think through a single question, didn't wrestle with a single concept, didn't try, didn't reflect, didn't even skim for understanding. She just automated her entire homework session like a tiny CEO outsourcing tasks to her unpaid intern. And this is a kid who's considered bright in school? The wildest part? She wasn't even hiding it. This wasn't her being sneaky or rebellious. This was just normal, routine. This is how she, and probably half her class, does homework now. She wasn't gaming the system, she was the system, and that's when it hit me. We're not raising a generation that's cheating the process. We're raising a generation that doesn't even know there's a process to cheat. They're not skipping steps. They've never been taught the steps in the first place. There used to be a progression. Learn the basics, then look for shortcuts. Understand the material, then try to optimize your time. Gen Z, my generation, we knew what it meant to grind out a worksheet, stare at a word problem until our brain hurt, guess B when in doubt. We earned our shortcuts. We hacked the system because we first understood the system. But Gen Alpha, they skip straight to the hacks. It's not that they're lazy, that's too simple. It's that they've been trained to expect answers on demand, to treat knowledge like something you extract with the right prompt, not something you build over time. And when you give a 10-year-old access to something like ChatGPT, guess what? They'll never go back to flipping through textbooks or scratching their heads over multiplication tables. Why would they? Why would anyone? The terrifying part isn't that they're using AI. It's that they're using it exactly how it was designed, flawlessly, efficiently, and without reflection. And honestly, I can't even be mad at her. She didn't invent this system, she was born into it. But the consequences, they're ours to deal with. We're talking about a future where comprehension, analysis, and even basic curiosity are optional. Where kids don't need to think as long as they know how to type the right prompt. And sure, but the consequences? They're ours to deal with. We're talking about a future where comprehension, analysis, and even basic curiosity are optional. Where kids don't need to think as long as they know how to type the right prompt. And sure, maybe she'll learn to think critically later. Maybe this is just a phase. Maybe she's 10 and being 10. But I watched her outsource every ounce of learning to a machine today, and she walked away from it without gaining a single new skill. No new understanding, no new perspective, just a completed homework sheet and an open TikTok tab. And here's the twist. Her homework was good. Better than what most 10-year-olds could come up with on their own. Her teacher will probably praise her. Her grade will reflect effort she never actually gave. And she'll be rewarded for work that wasn't hers. So what lesson does that teach? That learning is for people who don't have ChatGPT. That effort is optional if you're clever enough to outsource, that you don't need to understand. You just need to deliver. I left that evening with a knot in my stomach. Not because I think AI is evil. Not because I think kids are doomed, but because we're not even trying to adapt to this new reality. We're still pretending school works the way it did 10 years ago while kids are living in 2035 with AI co-pilots and answer machines. We're not teaching them how to use AI wisely. We're letting it replace the very thing school was supposed to build, the ability to think. And if we don't figure this out fast, if we don't teach them to engage, to question, to be curious, then we're not just raising kids who rely on AI. We're raising kids who don't know they're relying on it. They'll think this is normal. They'll think this is learning. And that scares me more than any sci-fi movie ever could.